Info Hub. Our top stories: President leads cabinet on visit to remains of Georgetown prison. Director of prisons confirms that 8 fugitives are at large. Minister Ali visits relatives of slain prison officer, and more money pumped into CJIA. President David Granger today broke the cabinet meeting to lead his team of ministers on a first-hand examination of the demolished Georgetown prison. Paul McAdam was with the president, and here is his report.
President David Granger, Prime Minister Moses Nagamotu, and the cabinet visited the Georgetown prison site this midday, which was gutted by fire during a prison escape by inmates.
We will have to go back to the drawing board to determine whether it is appropriate to have in the center of the city a facility like this. And as you know, the 3 major prisons were constructed by the British, respectively in Berbice, Demerara, and Essequibo. Berbice in New Amsterdam, Demerara here in Georgetown, Essequibo at Mazruni. So this is what was adequate maybe 120 years ago, but certainly it's not adequate now. We definitely have to go back to the drawing board.
The head of state said that the way forward will be based on high-level discussions.
I will discuss with Minister of Public Security and the cabinet, but we're not going to have the same type of facility here again. So that's as much as I can say at present. The devastation here is almost total, and we don't have any intention of rebuilding it as it was before.
Government was acting on recommendations made by the recently completed Commission of Inquiry, the President explained.
We knew that we had to strengthen Mazruni. Money had been provided, and the administration was actually in the process of expanding the facilities and improving the facilities at Mazruni when this thing occurred. This is an accident waiting to happen, and equally, I would say, New Amsterdam is a fragile structure too. So we're working as quickly as we could with our limited resources, and at the end of it, at the end of the process, I can assure you that the Ministry of Public Security will have a more secure prison that is not susceptible to this cycle of breakouts that we've been having.
Also accompanying the team were the heads of the security and paramilitary services, including the Guyana Police Forces Commissioner Silal Posod, Chief Prisons Officer Gladwell Samuels, Fire Chief Marlon Gentle, and Guyana Defence Force Acting Chief of Staff Nazrul Hussain. Samuels has confirmed that there are 8 fugitives on the run. It is now confirmed that 9 prisoners initially escaped on Sunday. 1 was recaptured. He has been identified as Tushan resident and murder accused Shamuddin Mohammed. Prisoners at large are Yuri Varswick, a.k.a. Malcolm Gordon, Mark Royden Durant, a.k.a. Royden Williams, and Staffrey Hopkinson Alexander. The Guyana Police Force will issue wanted bulletins for the other 5 fugitives shortly. Paul McAdam for Info Hub.
As you heard in Paul's report, Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuels announced during the cabinet visit that there are 8 escapees. One of the 9 who escaped was recaptured last night. If you encounter any of these fugitives, please take all precautions as they are armed and dangerous. Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali yesterday visited relatives of the late Odinga Wickham, the prison officer who was killed during the prison escape. Zanil Williams tells us more.
The minister offered her deepest condolences to the family members as the mother of late Odinga Wickham related her story as to how she found out the passing of her son.
After I went on the course and he was still alive, but was going through doing the surgery at the time. And when I came home, I was greeted with my neighbors saying that they gave him sympathy. And so I said, for what? But the doctor told me that he's alive and they're doing emergency surgery. So they said, no, it's posts on Facebook and so on and so on.
Minister Ali said that during the ordeal at the prison on Sunday, she was in constant contact with Minister of Public Health, Valda Lawrence, who assured her that the best systems were put in place to deal with the tragic incident. Minister Ali noted that it was most unfortunate that the medical care could not have sustained the life of Wickham. His mother explained that the medical team was most efficient. However, sadly, the injuries were too serious.
They were working. When I saw him, he was dead. but you could see that they were busy. But they had all these straps on them and something in his mouth.
Minister Ali has committed to meeting with the family at a later date to discuss what arrangements are possible through the ministry to cater to sustaining the livelihood of the late prison officer's fiancée and daughter. Minister said that what prisoners did was most reprehensible and vile, and that those responsible must be brought to justice and punished. Zaniel Williams for InfoHub.
In our next report, we tell you that an additional $300 million has been pumped into the CJIA expansion. Here is more in this report. The $300 million is in addition to the U.S. $150 million allocated for the CJIA modernization project in the 2017 national budget. Minister David Patterson said this sum will go towards major upgrade for the project.
The original contract catered for checking counters, 20. The final number of checking counters will be 32. And finally, the length of the runway in the original scope would have been 1,066 meters. The final length of the runway will be 1,090 meters.
The CJIA modernization project was inked in 2011 between the government and China Harbor Engineering for the sum of US $150 million. Minister Patterson is confident that the project will not exceed the contract sum.
We had to pay, sir, the consultancy. We also had to pay the local pari passu, sir, and that comes out as one line item, sir. There's no line item for contract for airport, contract for civilians. One line item, which is total $150 million. It's always $150 million. We always said that we would never exceed it. We always said that we will do better, finish a greater and better project within the $150 million.
The CJIA project is approximately 65% completed and on schedule. Region 1's RDC held the region's first regional Tushals and CDC chairpersons conference. InfoHub was in Mabaruma and has the details.
The conference was deemed a catalyst for development in the region, commenced on July 10th and will conclude on July 14th, 2017. Chairman of the National Tushals Council, Joel Fredericks, noted that the conference will benefit indigenous leaders.
I want to say that having this conference is something good. It's a springboard coming up for the National Tushals Conference in August the 21st to the 26th. The regional vice chairman just mentioned, this is where we can capture some of the issues and find solutions for them.
Regional Chairman Brentnell Ashley urges the indigenous leaders to discuss issues that will push development.
I want to encourage you as well as we are gathered here to bring to us the meritable issues that are affecting your communities. This 4 days is not to talk about the petty moleholes that we want to create mountains out of, but things that we can see substantial transformation through.
Member of Parliament Pauline Campbell-Sukai said that the conference is timely and important to the development of the indigenous people.
It is important to ensure that we are able to make indigenous leaders or encourage indigenous leaders and to position indigenous leaders within the context of development talks, dialogue, or plans in everything that we do, particularly in regions where there are the significant numbers.
The conference is being held under the theme Fostering Regional Development Through Good Governance, Accountability and Transparency. Delon Sanko.
Some 13 daycare facilities in Linden are now registered and licensed, a first for the mining tongue. Sonika Thorne has the details.
Minister of Social Protection Amna Ali presented a license to caregivers of 13 childcare facilities in the mining town. The intention is to ensure that children are enrolled in developmental-friendly daycare services that adhere to the regulated minimum standard, Minister Ali explained.
When parents make a decision to place their child or children in childcare facilities, they all have one common concern, and that is the safety and well-being of their children. Therefore, persons entrusted with the care of these children must give the best alternative care possible, and you must ensure that high standards are maintained.
In just 1 month, the Child Care Protection Agency was able to license 26 child care facilities across the country as part of its early childhood development program. Minister Ali said that this represents another step taken by government to ensure children are nurtured in a safe environment.
We are all obligated to uphold the Constitution, which states that the best interest of the child shall be the primary consideration of the state. And I can assure you here today that this government will do its part to implement policies in keeping with the International Convention on the Rights of the Child.
The regulated minimum standards cater for development of healthy, well-adjusted children who are critical thinkers. Sneaker Thorne for InfoHub.
Thanks for watching. Connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. We'll leave you now with some footage of Cabinet's visit to the Georgetown prison.
Daddy!